now. Hi there, hot stuff. How's it going? Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of Burning Down with Kim Brown, the safe space where we set oppression ablaze, because we know that something has to come out better from all of this bullshit that we are currently existing in. How's everybody feeling out there today? I hope you had a great weekend. What's going on, Fire Fam? How you feeling out there? What's up, Toby? What's up, Latif? Pimp C. Courtney, the SLP, is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. What else we got in here? Polly Gannon, Polly MC Uniwild. What's up, Natalie? Latif, did I already say Latif? Okay. Anna Hart, hello, Anna. Hi, sweetie. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, showing up, and representing. Guys, we've got a great program in store for you today. So we've got a lot to get into. But before we do that, let me just give y'all some quick reminders that if you are able, please do us a favor and like the show, subscribe to the show, share the show across the internet, follow us places across the web. We are at BIDWKB on Instagram, on Facebook. Molly got us popping on TikTok. We are on Twitter at Burn It Down KB. And we would like for y'all to hang out with us on the social medias. And guys. So if you're already, what's up, a lady 747? Thank you so much, baby. Where's Chuck Diesel at? He's still drunk from his birthday. Chuck Diesel, you hungover still on Tuesday? Now, you know, you got to tighten up a little better than that, homeboy. What's up, Ursula? Thank you so much. Valley Girl, thank you, darling. Love to see y'all up in the spot. What's up, Dawn? How you doing? I think we was rocking together on Sundays on Black Power Media. Now I done forgot what the hell I was going to say. Now that just tells you I have smoked a little bit too much marijuana today. But the point that I'm trying to make here is beyond following us places across the internet. I just want to say that you guys even supporting us here on Burn It Down with Kim Brown, we are so humbled and so deeply appreciative that y'all show up with us every Tuesday and Friday. And for our wonderful patrons, they're all 80 plus of you. Thank you guys so much for your material support, because guess what? We need it out here. And don't forget, guys, if you have not already, please head on over to Black Power Media and give our comrades a subscribe over there. Black Power Media is growing tremendously, and just the best content here and there. We're giving you the best content between I Mix What I Like, the Remix Morning Show, The Last Dope Intellectual, Renegade Culture, Riot Starter, and I'm beginning to be a big fan of Brother Balagoon's show on Saturday afternoons, the Warrior Class, y'all. Warrior Class, stand up. Balagoon gonna have me out here hurting people. It's glorious. Oh, pardon me. Defending myself is what I meant to say. Anyway, guys, on the show today, got some big topics to talk about. First of all, to our white comrades, please, y'all need to collect y'all cousins, because y'all cousins is going to these school board meetings and wilding the fuck out. They are threatening school board members. They are threatening school superintendents, and they are enabled by governors who are now, by executive order, are banning mask mandates. As COVID is surging, as the Delta variant is surging, as hospital beds are shrinking, as ICU units are swelling, there is a war right now happening against the children of America, and is being waged by all intents and purposes, best I can tell, upset white folks. And I'm trying to understand, why are the white folks so angry? But clearly they are angry. And we're going to talk about that later in the program. Also, we would be fully remiss if we didn't at least discuss what's happening in Afghanistan, and maybe perhaps a little less of what's happening and more so of what led up to what's happening now. Guys, I was amongst the millions of people, and I'm not exaggerating for those who are too young to remember, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, when George W. Bush was out here running this country as if he were some lone renegade cowboy trying to resolve vendettas, personal vendettas against his family. Saddam Hussein tried to kill my daddy dog. We was in the fucking street, shawty. Lots. Not in our name. Move on, shawty. We was out there. Okay, and we could have told you 20 plus years ago that what is happening currently in Afghanistan was inevitable to happen. It was inevitable that America's militaristic imposition of whatever the fuck American democracy was destined to collapse and fail. Not because any fault of the Afghans, All because America ain't had no goddamn business in Afghanistan to begin with. So we're going to take a look back. Now, I know I fuck around sometimes and say that Joe Biden is y'all's boy and Obama is y'all's boy. I know that George W. Bush was absolutely not y'all's boy. And if George W. Bush is y'all's boy, unsubscribe to my channel right fucking now. That is not the kind of energy that we need over here at Burn It Down with Kim Brown, okay? But first, y'all, I'm over here sweating. I'm getting excited. Let me calm down. All right, first things first. This is the first leg of the program. Let's go. What is happening in Haiti? If you didn't know, I'm sure you have to know. August 14th, the Haitian island was hit by a magnitude 7.2 earthquake. So far, the Haitian government has reported over 1,400 people have been killed that they know of, thousands other injured. They had hundreds of buildings be flattened, and the country is struggling right now. Now, again, for those who are old enough to remember the tragic earthquake in 2010 that hit the Haitian island, so many people, so many thousands of people were killed. And it wasn't just the natural disaster, the natural catastrophe that hurt Haiti. What happened subsequent, the man-made disaster of the nonprofit money grab, the resources grab, the ways in which hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, earmarked for the Haitian people either disappeared, didn't get there, it got lost on the boat. I think totally we can blame some of it on the elites of the island probably receiving a portion of those resources and hoarding it and not distributing it. But without no doubt, nonprofit organizations like the Red Cross, like the Clinton Global Initiative, beefed that shit. I don't know how else to say it. Beefed it, straight up beefed it. Haitians have not forgotten that. And this time around, it has been repeated heavily on social media by people who remember, do not give to the Red Cross and related organizations to support the Haitian people in their time of need right now, because they're definitely in a time of need, but goddamn it, they don't need their pockets picked in addition to trying to survive. And again, not just the Red Cross, not just the Clinton Global Initiative. Don't forget, the United Nations compounded the catastrophe on Haiti when they sent their peacekeepers who were there abusing children, right, trafficking children, and spreading cholera all around the island, killing lots and lots and lots more people. So guys, all help ain't good help, right? We know that. So we're going to have a fantastic conversation coming up. Stay tuned. But before we get to that, I want us to take a quick look at some clips of what is happening in Haiti, who is actually providing Haiti perhaps some assistance here in the most benevolent way that I can describe. So this first clip, guys, so we're about to watch 3 clips, right? Because Tunde is crispy over here on this editing, John, and he know what he doing. So the first clip is done, posted by the Twitter account Centre Toussaint, right? And it is a clip of Haitians in the immediate aftermath of the earthquake giving an assessment of what they see around them in Creole. And I'm sorry, we do not have subtitles. So, you know, brush up on your Creole or your French, or maybe Genevieve, perhaps Genevieve can offer us a loose translation in the chat. Genevieve, no pressure. The second clip, guys, is from, this one is going to be from Madame Boukman. If you follow on, if you're on Twitter, Madame Boukman is a really very pro-Haitian Twitter account, and they posted a clip of aid reported to be directly from Venezuela, coming to help the Haitian people. Shout out to Nicolas Maduro. Shout out to Venezuela. Venezuela usually step up when they are able to step up. And the third clip in this melange of clips here is going to be from the point person on the ground for Chef Jose Andres's World Central Kitchen. Now, I fucks with Chef Jose Andres because Chef Jose Andres shows up, okay? He gets his people on the ground. He don't be fucking around. Like, he gets it done in probably way more efficient ways than a lot of NGOs. So shout out to the World Central Kitchen and Chef Jose Andres. So let's take a look at these clips, you guys, coming straight from Haiti, showing the aftermath and hopefully the coming aid to Haitians after this big earthquake they suffered.
Alors, jeudi samedi, un tremblement de terre passé dans Pestel. C'est comme ça Pestel crasé net là, vous comprenez? Et si nous suivons bien, il y a un peu de monde qui est blessé, il y a qui crasé, et puis il y a des gens qui mourent. Donc, c'est tellement. Et puis il y a des jeunes qui là, on a pour net là. Si nous suivons bien, ça c'est Pestel qui crase net, tremblement de terre passé. Je ne passe tellement passer en vitesse, en pile qui crasé. Les amis, miracle ça réussi, vive miracle ça. Jeudi samedi là. Bon, actuellement ça dans marché à et tout, mais moi même tellement il y a des gens qui blessés, on était n'importe monde, et puis des
All right, Sam here. We just landed in Port-au-Prince. As you can see, we've got a lot of our equipment getting unloaded. All thanks to JetBlue. They sent this whole plane in for us. We got a whole bunch of cameras, biopans, everything we need to start cooking right away. It is raining here, which is really unfortunate for all the people that are sleeping outside tonight. And we've got 2 other teams have already arrived earlier today. We've got a good team coming together very quickly, and we'll be getting into kind of the epicenter here tomorrow morning, and we'll keep you updated. Thank you.
Again, shout out to the World Central Kitchen, Chef Jose Andres. Genevieve gave me the rough translation for that first video. And basically the brother was saying this is how it broke down. There's a lot of people injured and have died. It broke down completely. I was inside the market and so many people were injured. Guys, yeah. I was doing just a cursory bit of research about why Haiti gets hit with some of these earthquakes. Just a sidebar real quick. Haiti apparently sits at the intersection of 2 tectonic plates. Obviously, that's how earthquakes happen. But these joints be shifting like rocking big time. That's like, this is why Haiti gets hit with big quakes. So absolutely our spirits are with the Haitian people. We are, thoughts and prayers are insufficient. But guys, I want us to discuss about, again, it's the natural disaster happens, but then the natural disaster is compounded by the thief and the greed of the nonprofit organizations, the NGOs who swoop in and collect tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions even, for places that are hit hard by natural disasters and the money never arrives. So this is absolutely another form of imperialism and colonialism. And I think we have the perfect guest to join us today, guys. Today we are joined with Nicholas Ayala. Nicholas is the co-editor of Anticonquista, and Anticonquista, which helps to provide news coverage and material solidarity to popular movements in Latin America. And before he was a co-editor at Anticonquista, Nicholas organized with different Black and Latinx organizations that worked in Latin America and throughout the diaspora. And he joins us today from New Jersey. Nicholas, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invitation.
So Nicholas, I mean, just so we're clear and for the audience is clear, like you're not here to speak about what is happening directly on the ground in Haiti, but rather about the other exploitations that happens to Haitians, and it has happened to Haiti in the past when it comes to some of these organizations like the American Red Cross, like UNICEF, like the Clinton Global Initiative, who raise millions of dollars and very little actually arrives in the form of aid that people who are most affected on the ground are able to benefit from. So it's a simple question to ask, why did this continue to happen? But let's start there. I mean, because this is obviously a documented pattern sort of thing that happens to poor Black and brown countries without a doubt.
Right. And the simple answer as to why it happens is because it's profitable, right? We have elites in power whose only mindset is profit, his only mindset is making more money, even if it's off the backs of our people who are killed or murdered in some of the most gruesome and horrific ways, whether it be natural disasters or through gang violence. And so, a lot of the money that was fundraised from the 2010 earthquake, which killed over 300,000 Haitians, a lot of that was taken and funneled into either corrupt politicians, celebrity individuals like Akon, or political fundraisers like the Clinton Foundation, which ended up amassing tens of millions to hundreds of millions of dollars for their own pockets, as well as paying off corrupt Haitian politicians. So, a lot of this happens because there's a profit incentive, right? The Red Cross in the last earthquake raised over $9 billion. 90% of that money went to non-Haitian organizations. It's become an economy, right? It's become a way of living for many of these folks. And it's pretty gross if you really think about it, because it's off of the backs of hundreds of thousands of people who have been killed.
I want us to sort of stick with that for a second. And first of all, you just blew my mind when you said Akon. What did Akon do? I heard about Wyclef, but I didn't know Akon was perhaps allegedly thieving from the people too. What did Akon do?
It might have been, you might be right. It might have been Wyclef and Akon. I think Akon, what he's doing now is he's investing in Africa. Actually, I think he's investing in Senegal. In a large
with the
fund. Electricity.
Yes,
right, exactly. And I think that has a lot of parallels to what Wyclef did in Haiti. And it's the same thing. You got to think, like, why are these already rich individual celebrities going back to impoverished nations and acting or pretending to be charitable? Well, it's because they can raise a lot of money for the so-called fundraisers or charities, and a lot of that money is going back to themselves.
So I want us to circle back again to the Red Cross. So let me thank Genevieve again for her help, for me helping to prep for this interview, because, we all have interest in what happens to Haiti. And it's so important that the grift machine really be exposed and stopped as best as possible, or at minimum, not supported by our dollars, right? So, in the Red Cross, they have a history in Haiti of not delivering on their promises, but yet oftentimes these NGOs are often the first one on the ground. How can people who want to help be made more aware of actual grassroots organizations and not default to these big international NGOs to sort of, assuage our consciences that we are actually doing something to help?
Well, right. And that's really the question. That's the tough part, right? Because who gets the visibility, who gets the platforms, who gets the government funding? It's not the grassroots organizations who have been there for decades. It's these large international bodies, the UN, Red Cross, these well-known platforms. They get the visibility that's really needed in order to draw in large crowds of fundraising. If you want to look for specific organizations that are doing good work and who have been doing good work since 2004, which is when you saw the coup against Aristide, the popular president in Haiti, I would look towards the Haiti Action Committee and the Haiti Emergency Relief Fund. Really, once you establish a network of legitimate and good progressive forces that actually represent the Haitian people and grassroots organizing, you'll start to see a connection between networks and other individuals they follow, who they trust. And, I would start building from there. But I think it's, just laying the foundation, understanding at least one of them. Knowing at least one of them helps you connect the dots to others. So, yeah, I would recommend people look into the Haiti Action Committee and the Haiti Emergency Relief Fund.
Tunde, if you could please, can you pop up A2 for me? Thank you so much for mentioning those organizations that are credible and actually help to give the resources and materials directly there to those who are in dire and desperate need of it the most. But when you mentioned earlier that the reason why these celebrities and these NGOs and these nonprofits steal basically Haiti's money from Haitians, y'all's boy audience, I'm talking to y'all because y'all know y'all voted for Barack Obama. Barack Obama is picking up where Bill Clinton and the Clinton Global Initiative left off. You guys check out this tweet from the 44th president. Now he says, right now, thousands of people Haiti are injured and even more homeless after an earthquake hit the island on Saturday. So if you're looking for ways to make a difference, here are some organizations that are helping Haitians recover and rebuild. And he posted, and he posted a link to the Obama Foundation. Now, I am not certain that the Obama Foundation is headed in the same direction as the Clinton Global Initiative, but it would definitely follow the branding and follow the logic that somebody, some high profile person, high profile like Bill Clinton, high profile like Barack Obama would use this opportunity to grift people out of potential donations and aid for Haiti. Let me get your thoughts on that. Because it doesn't seem as though there was a lot of accountability for the Clintons after their massive theft of donations intended for Haiti after the 2010 earthquake. Was there any accountability for the Clinton Global Initiative for doing very little and delivering very little on what they promised relative to the amount that they were able to fundraise?
No, I think you're correct. There was no accountability, right? I mean, look, and then really, let's think about the Clinton family for a second. Think about all the crimes that they've been committed or tied to, and crimes, corruption, all these things that have come out about the Clinton family. They've never been accountable for any of that. And the scandal with Haiti is just a minor drop it's a drop in the bucket of crimes from the family. The Obama Foundation, you mentioned this before the show, and I didn't even know he was doing this. Of course, my initial reaction, I think everyone's initial reaction should be skepticism, right? And the fact that he feels confident enough, given what has happened in the past with former presidents' fundraisers for Haiti specifically, the fact that he has that confidence to put that out there is also, in my opinion, a bit suspicious, a bit sus. But this is just it's a grift is, I think, a kind way to describe what these folks are doing, right? Because really, it's off of the backs of thousands of deaths, thousands of injuries, complete total destruction of infrastructure in towns. It's really despicable, right? The fact that he would feel the need to plug his own foundation, even before plugging international foundation. He could have told people to go donate to the Red Cross, but he didn't even do that. So it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
So what else is also interesting to me about Obama particular tweeting about aid to Haiti? It's like, dog, weren't you president in 2010? Didn't you sort of oversee that Haitian aid effort? Wasn't it a bit of a clusterfuck? Didn't you do a terrible job at that? Why are you here, sir? Who asked you? Who asked you, Barry? We didn't ask you. I wanted to ask you also, the Biden administration, for God's sakes, what really concerns me, in addition to, the earthquake and obviously the catastrophe that has followed, with people being dead and, infrastructure there, not very good. It's not a good situation after the earthquake for Haiti right now. But my fear is that if this is coming so close to the assassination of the Haitian president not that long ago, that perhaps the United States will use this as an opportunity to engage militarily on the streets of Haiti and send in armed forces there for a variety of reasons. And we know that the United States has been a complicit imperialist power, along with France, along with a lot of others, in making sure that the island of Haiti has suffered for the past 200 years for their audacity to defeat the colonizers and declare Haiti the first true democracy in the world, the first true place where slavery was forbidden. The Europeans and the Americans ain't forgot about that, and they do what they can to make sure that Haiti continues to suffer as a result. So do you think that the Biden administration will use this natural catastrophe and then the political incident that happened with the assassination of the president as an opportunity to send U.S. troops to Haiti?
Right. I think that's a genuine concern. I can't give a definitive answer, but I will say right now, I don't think so. Only because when the president Moise was assassinated, the Biden administration was actually the incoming president Ariel Henry as well as Claude Joseph kind of had a fight. They both wanted U.S. Military to come into the island and really occupy and secure and stabilize the island through occupation. They're both allies. Now, the current Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, was an ally to the United States. But the United States refused military intervention occupation. Interesting decision, given also, keep in mind the context, Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan. I think given the politics and the craziness of the situation right now, it doesn't seem like he'll put more troops into another foreign country right after he just pulled them out. But a concern in terms of intervention would be UN occupation, what they call the peace forces. And like you said earlier, there was these UN occupation peace forces who were the ones that were, accused of these sexual abuse crimes against children, against women, accused of corruption, stealing, killings. And these were forces who were, I'll be honest, these were forces, some of them were led by Latin American countries, right? Some of them were led by Mexico, Brazil, Colombia. But I'm hoping that after the disaster of that occupation, that not only that people have learned, right? Not just the UN, but also the individual nations. Us as Latin Americans, as Latinos, have to stand up for other Latinos, other Africans within our own region and within our own continent. We can't, play the role of a puppet to international imperialist actors who just want to destroy Haiti and who just want to exploit and oppress the people. So again, my fear would be a UN occupation, a UN action. I don't think Biden right now looks like he's going to intervene, but that doesn't mean he won't change his mind down the line, right? So, it's tough to say, but I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
Well, solidarity for the Haitian people has been shown by Latin American countries. Well, Cuba's in the Caribbean and Latin at the same time. What's up, Cuba? Cuba, Venezuela, I think Chile now has stepped up and sent both food aid and medical assistance. And, a lot of these Latin American countries or a certain number of them have stepped up considerably and routinely for Haiti when it comes to the needs of the people, especially after, earthquakes and hurricanes and the like. Why is it that you think that some of these non-superpower countries are quicker to respond than superpower countries?
Right. I think is an interesting contradiction or interesting question, right? Why is it that the rich countries are the ones with the capacity, the resources, the materials, everything needed to actually help people who are in need are doing less than those who have less than they are? I think you can draw a connection to, why is it that poor Black and brown folks in the United States are the ones doing the most to support our communities and not the rich who have all the materials and the resources that they could solve these issues of poverty, of lack of healthcare, of homelessness, right? Well, it's because, look, there's solidarity and there's camaraderie between us Latinos, between us oppressed peoples throughout the world, where when we see injustice or oppression or exploitation of our brothers and sisters, we feel the need to act and act immediately. Whereas those who don't have that same camaraderie, the imperialists of the West, the imperialists of Western Europe, US, Canada, Japan, Australia, all those nations, they don't have that camaraderie with our people, with the oppressed peoples throughout the world. So they don't feel the need to really act immediately, right? I mean, Cuba was the one, is the nation that, despite being under what they see as a genocidal blockade, is giving the most, is done a lot for Haiti, probably the most out of Latin America, constantly providing doctors, constantly providing education, recently the former President Jean Bertrand Aristide had to have a medical operation. He was sick. They flew him out to Cuba so that he can be treated by Cuban doctors there. They have, Cuba has a history of this international solidarity, and as well as other nations throughout the region, like Venezuela. Venezuela had the Petrocaribe Fund, which was basically a program where they were supplying Caribbean nations, including Haiti, with cheap fuel and oil, so that they can actually have, they can fund things like, or they can have fuel and resources for, ambulances or trucks to transport goods and resources across the island nation, right? And even though there was a corruption scandal with that Petrocaribe fund, the fact of the matter is that Venezuela was still offering almost like a beneficial trade agreement to the Haitians, and it wasn't really for the Haitian government so that they can steal the money. It was for the Haitian people, right? And that's the difference. Our Latin American, some Latin American nations like Mexico, like Chile, like Argentina, like Venezuela and Cuba, they care about the people, right? And they're willing to do whatever it takes to give aid to the people, not the not the government, because they don't care about the government. The government is its own thing, right? But I think that's one of the reasons why we see this solidarity. It's that companionship. I see in my oppressed brothers and sisters the same victimhood that's within me and what's in my people.
And really, with every nation that the United States tries to hold down with under its sphere of influence, like it's like a certain tailor-made hell, right? So Haitians get their version of hell from the United States and its foreign policy. Cuba gets its version of hell. Venezuela gets its version of hell. And like you said, they are still all experiencing hell from the United States. But it's definitely custom made for each country. And unfortunately, we all feel it differently. As we're talking about like what can be done to help Haiti from the United States, from countries, if you happen to, America's a rich country. We may not be rich living in America, but we probably do have more access to resources that we could send and help. So if we want to help Haiti, if we are in a position to help, avoiding the Red Cross, avoiding the big NGOs is crucial. But Anticonquista and other independent magazines, like, are you guys compiling like lists of grassroots places? I think you mentioned some at the beginning. Could you mention them again for our audience, for those who are interested in helping and want to make sure that the help actually gets directly to the people most in need?
Right. Yeah. So the groups I mentioned earlier are the Haiti Action Committee, which is basically a group of former Lavalas, which is the Progressive Party under Aristide, who the majority of Haitians support. They do a lot of great work and coverage and media and news updates. They support and they recommend people give money to the Haiti Emergency Relief Fund. And these are, it's interesting. These are organizations that have been around for over a decade now, and yet aren't nearly as visible as like the Obama. I guarantee more people probably know about the Obama fundraiser now than a lot of these organizations, because they don't get the visibility or the campaign or the highlight, or people aren't highlighting them as much as they should be. So I think part of the platform is, even if you don't have maybe the financial resources to donate, educating or making people aware. Look, don't give to these NGOs. I've seen a lot of random kind of organizations pop up that I've never heard of before. And I understand some are new, but there needs to be a lot of transparency and accountability for that, right? Whereas these decades long organizations like the Haiti Action Committee, like the Haiti Emergency Relief Fund, are very important and have been doing this work for a long amount of time, and they have trust amongst the Haitian people. The other organization I recommend people look into, because it provides a lot of local news coverage. They use a lot of civilian journalists from Haiti, is the Haiti Information Project. We spoke with them on Anticonquista. But yeah, those are the three organizations I highly recommend people check out. You'll find more about different groups that they support if you just look into them. Madame Boukman, I also follow her on Twitter. She does a lot of great work letting people know what things are like on the ground on Haiti. So.
Well, listen, Nicholas, we certainly appreciate you coming through and sharing your perspective with us. We would love to have you back on with Burn It Down with Kim Brown in the future, because I think we're very much on the same page here. And, there's always some underreported stories happening throughout the Caribbean and throughout Latin America. And we certainly would love to have the opportunity to amplify those stories, to amplify those voices, and to let our people know here in the States, and we have some viewers in Canada and the UK as well, like, hey, like it's a global struggle out here. And the Black and brown people are out here struggling together in the Caribbean and in Latin America. So I certainly appreciate you making some time joining us today. You guys, Nicholas Ayala is the co-editor of Anticonquista. Check out Anticonquista for that fresh Latin American, Black diasporatic perspective on anti-imperialism and the like. So Nicholas, we certainly appreciate you making some time for us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Hey, guys, I see you guys were getting it in the chat. And yes, all the 100s and the thumbs up and the fire emojis. Yes, guys. It's a very sad situation that Haiti is sitting on these tectonic plates, right? And is victim to these ginormous earthquakes and sometimes terrible hurricanes that come through there. But man, when the white folks sense an opportunity, and not our good white folks, I'm talking about them thieving white folks who work for the Clinton Global Initiative and the American Red Cross, when the white folks say, hey, Americans are feeling generous and are going to open up their purses and their wallets to try to contribute to help Haitians and other countries, who suffer similar outcomes, they just lick their lips, y'all. They think nothing of the people on the ground. Like the fact that, what was it? Genevieve sent me this article that was old, I believe, but still extremely relevant. Hold on, let me scroll down. It's the ProPublica joint. I meant to ask Nicholas about this. This was my fault for not doing that. But how the American Red Cross took billions and billions of dollars and built like 5 homes in Haiti. 2,000%. Unacceptable. How the Red Cross raised $500 million for Haiti and built 6 houses. You guys check out that ProPublica article because that was sourced, reported, verified, and absolutely found to be a thing. So where did the money go, honey? Where did that $500 million go? And I can assure you, even if the elites on the island stole some of the money, shorty, they never even saw nothing close to that $500 million. That $500 million didn't make its way nowhere near Haiti. That $500 million probably never left New York. That $500 million definitely never left Miami. That $500 million stayed right here in the United States. And they sent the island probably like $20 million, and the elites kept $19.5 million. And I'm just making up arbitrary numbers, but you guys understand where I'm saying, where I'm going with that. So definitely educate your community, educate your circle. Do not send money to the Red Cross. Do not send money to the Clintons. Find the grassroots organizations that Nicholas outlined, and there are others as well with social media links. Lists are being posted and distributed around the internet of credible places, and follow credible voices and credible sources that you guys know are not fucking thieves and grifters out here. Okay. All right. Hey guys, before we go on to our next segment, just a reminder, do me a favor, smash that like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And again, if you're interested in support, and I am a tiny bit reluctant in repeating our support links because you guys did such an amazing job of helping us during our summer fundraiser. But it's just housekeeping. Y'all, we good. Y'all, we square. But for the new people who may want to support us and you haven't already, you can do that very easily, either by becoming a patron at patreon.com/BIDWKB. Support us on Cash App, $BIDWKB. What I said, BIDWKB, Venmo at BIDWKB, and PayPal.me/BIDWKB. Help to keep Black woman-led independent media. I can't even half-ass talk today, y'all. I promise you I'm not drunk. I'm not even high. Maybe I'm sleepy. I don't know what's going on. But if you want to help keep this channel channeling, hit us up at them places. We would certainly appreciate it. And if you have already, we good. Straight. Moving on to the next topic, you guys. I have to talk about Afghanistan, but really, what the fuck can I say about Afghanistan that is not already obvious and that was not perfectly obvious to all of us in the year 2002? 2002, how old was I? 23? I can't do math. What year is this? 2021? So 20 years ago, I was 23. 2002, I was 24. And probably borderline despondent. Where are all my Gen Xers at? Guys, do y'all remember being fresh-faced out of college or working your job and enjoying your early 20s life and seeing the planes crash into the Twin Towers on September 11, 2001? And I will never forget this, guys, because I was a journalism major, so news, I was a news junkie. Shorty, I don't even consume nowhere near the news that I did 20 years ago. But anyway, I remember being immediately skeptical of the reporting that was coming out because Katie Couric and Dan Rather and all them niggas on, who was covering the September 11th attacks live as it was happening were immediately screaming Osama bin Laden. I said, how the fuck? Where are y'all getting this from? How did y'all deduce Osama bin Laden that quick? I almost think bin Laden didn't do it at first, but the reporting came out, the nigga took credit, and bin Laden said, fuck you, pay me, whatever. He was in Afghanistan, and this just kicked open the opportunity for George W. Bush to ramp up the military, as the Republicans love to do, and Democrats also when they get a chance, but they always try to outdo each other every time they get into office, right? Who's down for the troops? We got to increase the military budgets. Well, George Bush had the great misfortune for us, but fortune, I suppose, for the board of Halliburton, that the nigga who used to run Halliburton, a fucking actual war machine corporation, was the vice president. And Dick Cheney and George Bush and Halliburton and Raytheon and Boeing and all them niggas wasted no time ramping up the war machine, starting not one but two wars in the aftermath of September 11th, in Afghanistan first and then later in Iraq. And I was beside myself because I thought it was all bullshit. Why the fuck are we bombing Afghanistan to go get one Bama? Why can't, if our military is so much to shit, why don't y'all go in there and get them? Why do we have to send tens of thousands of people? Why are we arbitrarily dropping bombs and then subsequently during the Obama administration just droning the fuck out of very ordinary citizens because they may have Taliban or Al Qaeda embedded with them? I mean, it turned into what is unsurprisingly an American invasion disaster, not unlike what happened in Korea many decades ago, not unlike what happened in Vietnam in the not so distant past, and in the first Iraq war, and certainly in the second Iraq war. So when Joe Biden announced months ago that the war in Afghanistan was finally going to come to an end, good, great, right? Now, what these dickheads on television are getting right is that there was never a good time to exit Afghanistan. And the reason why there was never a good time to exit Afghanistan is because, bitch, we should have never been in Afghanistan. We should have never been in Afghanistan. But what happened? Halliburton made shit ton of money. BlackRock, or what was the niggas? The Betsy DeVos's brother. That surreptitious shit that he was running, those mercenaries, over there. I mean, money was made hand over fist to the tune of $2.25 trillion spent in Afghanistan. And honey, I remember when that shit was happening, I said, wow, there goes our universal health care right there being spent in Afghanistan. Wow, there goes, student loan debt forgiveness right there being spent in Afghanistan. Blackwater. Thank you, Tunde. Blackwater. But Wait a minute, Tunde. I think they even changed their name from Blackwater. They remixed Blackwater because Blackwater had bad branding, and they changed their name to some new shit. Fact check that for me if you get a momento, por favor. Blackwater, yeah, Shirley, but Shirley, like I said, they did some other shit. They freaked it into something else. We don't even know the new name, but it's out there. I just can't remember what it is. Why? Because I smoke a lot of marijuana. But what is happening? The pictures coming out of Kabul are awful, right? And let me be clear, y'all. It's fuck the Taliban, right? Let's be clear. The Taliban, these are not good guys. Shout out to the homie Sugar on Twitter. When the Taliban released their list of, how the Taliban agenda is going to go now that they have resumed power, part of it was they're going to reimpose the marriage of church and state, and it's obviously going to become some sort of theocracy in Afghanistan. And Sugar on Twitter said, "Oh, so they're the GOP, right? Women don't have rights, and yes, basically Republicans wearing desert garb, right? Is who the Taliban is." And I'm not even trying to be flippant about the Taliban, because I understand the Taliban are horrible. They commit ghastly atrocities against people who want to assert themselves, in the way that the Taliban does not want them to. Lots of innocent people have been murdered and probably will be murdered in Afghanistan. And the United States, obviously did not have the solution for that issue. But what the United States did do, like I said, spent trillions on the military. And by the way, no coincidence that the opioid crisis exploded during the same time that America was occupying Afghanistan, right? Where do all the poppies come from? Where is that opium crop being sown at? Shawty, in Afghanistan. I bet you we have perhaps I don't know how they're going to ship all the opium over here now that the military has evacuated. How do you think the opium was getting over here in the first damn place? It was being transported clearly on military planes. Now, ask me, do I have any proof of that? No, I don't. But I didn't have any proof that the CIA it will be revealed, if it hasn't already, that the poppies, the opium, was being transported by the military from Afghanistan for production and refinement here in the U.S. And that's why we have a heroin and opioid crisis today. I bet you the opioid crisis get way better in the coming years. Anyway, people are laying the fall of Afghanistan, which is horrible framing in the first place, because it is the fall of American imperialism in Afghanistan, hopefully, American influence in Afghanistan, American meddling in Afghanistan. Now, that is something to actually celebrate. Get America the fuck up out of there. And I hope, and again, I'm speaking about this as a person sitting comfortably in the United States. I am not an Afghan person, and perhaps they would feel different about it. And we are working actually to get some Afghan people here to bring us some perspective. So let me not talk wholly out my ass, because this ain't my people. You feel me? But I can look at what the United States has done in that country for 20 years and would assume that it was necessarily not a net positive, because this was an inevitability that the United States had to leave. Like, we just can't sit in other people's countries forever. Sorry, Japan and Korea and Germany. Maybe we can sit in other people's countries forever. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But people are blaming Joe Biden for this. And while there's plenty of blame for Biden. But let's not forget the OG fuckboy. I mean, not OG fuckboy, but a fuckboy amongst fuckboys, y'all. George W. Bush. I hate the fact that George W. Bush had his image semi-repaired by none other than the Obamas, right? His image has been rehabilitated. Like, he's this soft, fuzzy, he was such a, quirky kind of president. He wasn't a typical president. And now he paints these lovely watercolors. And George Bush, oh man, he's so folksy down there in Crawford on the ranch. The fucking war criminal. Take a look at this bitch ass nigga. This is from, I want to say, '02. It's either '02 or '03. I want to say '02. Hold on. I might actually still have it pulled up. This is from C-SPAN, guys. And what we are going to watch is a video of W speaking at the White House. Laura Bush is right over his shoulder. And it's about, he's giving a press conference about Afghanistan humanitarian aid, that American children raise money for Afghan children and send it. And it is, I just want you guys just to listen to it, obviously, with 2021 ears. But remember how even disgusting it was in 2002, right? I mean, I remember looking at similar appearances from President Bush and like, oh my God, like this motherfucker is a ghoul. Like he is straight ghoulish. So take a look at this clip, you guys. This is almost 20 years ago from George W. Bush patting himself on the back about what the fine job that he's doing in Afghanistan. Let's take a look.
It's a chance to talk about our vision for our friends in Afghanistan. It was a year ago that American forces were just beginning the liberation of Afghanistan. And on this date last year, a year ago today, I asked the children of America to contribute $1 to provide food and medical help to the children of Afghanistan. In a year's time, after making that request, we've really accomplished a lot. We have. We have seen, of course, the tremendous skill and character of the United States military. We have seen the courage of our allies and our Afghan friends. We have seen the spirit of the Afghan people who long for freedom. We've seen the great generosity of our fellow Americans extended to men, women, and children on the other side of the earth. And yet, today, I want you all to know, and our fellow citizens to know, there's still a lot left to do. Still a lot of work to do in Afghanistan to achieve our dreams, and more importantly, the dreams of the Afghan people. Today, America affirms its full commitment to a future of progress and stability for the Afghan people. It's very important for our fellow Americans to remember that, keep in mind about the Taliban, they were the most brutal and oppressive governments, one of the most brutal and oppressive governments in modern times. It's hard for us to understand in America, but these are people who attempted to control every mind and every soul in the country. They obviously had a vast network of terrorist camps available to train extremists from around the world. Thanks to America, thanks to our friends, thanks to people who love freedom for everybody, the oppressive rule has been lifted. They're no longer in power. They're on the run, along with a bunch of other ones over there, too. Afghanistan has entered a new era of hope, and we want to be a continued part of the new era of hope in Afghanistan.
New era of hope in Afghanistan. Well, I know a lot of people who are now stuck at the Kabul airport and stuck in different places across the nation are hoping that the new era for Afghanistan involves refugees being allowed to leave the country and come to the U.S. The Biden administration is clearly dragging its feet on this. And hold on, before I even go down that road, I'm looking at the comments because there's sort of two schools going on here. There are us aunties and grannies who are old enough to remember how much we fucking hated George W. Bush, just the sight of that nigga. I was like, Shorty, where is the nigga throwing shoes when you need them, right? And then there's the people in the chat who are not old enough to fully have remembered how awful Bush was. I mean, you guys hear about and obviously are still living in the policies enacted by George W. Bush, these 20 years ago, damn near. But there are us who are old enough to remember like how much I was pulling my hair out over the Bush administration, the Bush rule, the Bush doctrine, as it were. Because it was very clear that George Bush's whole agenda, the Bush-Cheney agenda, the Bush-Cheney, Wolfowitz, Brimmer, Petraeus agenda was to mire us into these protracted wars in brown countries, in black countries, murder millions, thousands, millions, really, in Afghanistan. I mean, I don't know how many died in Afghanistan, but I know Iraq lost 1 million, 2 million plus people, right? And it's just like, I remember thinking as a young person in my early 20s, like, wow, like I fully understand why the 60s generation and the 70s generation dealing with Vietnam. Now I understand what they were dealing with. Now I understand that anguish. Now I understand that frustration. Now I understand that level of resentment towards our government, right? Because, okay, oppress me, whatever, right? The level of oppression that the American government can inflict upon me does not even compare to the level of oppression that the American government inflicts upon black and brown people across this globe, right? No matter how much I'm fucked with by the police, nigga, they are not droning the goddamn wedding party. Now, don't put it past them because America, but that's not standard operating procedure, right? All those chants of death to America, I get it. I understand. I understand fully. But please, folks, as much as the blame is going to Joe Biden, deservedly so, Afghanistan is George W. Bush's legacy. And fuck, let's throw Biden in that bitch anyway, because you know what? Joe Biden was in the Senate. Joe Biden voted for all this bullshit. So yeah, this can all be laid at the feet of Biden plus Bush plus Obama plus Trump plus. I don't know what's going to happen to the Afghan people. What I hope happens is that the United States is able to deduce, which, you know, this is a dumb fucking country run by a bunch of dullards who are, you know, lack the skills of deduction. But as someone very astutely pointed out on social media, you know, we are a nation that lost over 500,000 people as a result of a global pandemic, right? Our business community claims that we are in a labor shortage. And yet this nation is going out of its way to deny refugees and immigrants the opportunity to come to this country. You know, if America has a labor shortage, the answer is banging on our door, right? And from what I understand, the evacuation of Kabul, the evacuation of Afghanistan of American personnel, they evacuated the military first and not the diplomatic people. So I read a tweet, and I'm not able to verify this, but I took it as a credible source that, for example, and fuck the UK, by the way, but the UK ambassador to Afghanistan stayed behind in Kabul to process people's refugee applications before actually leaving, right? For people who help out the American military engaged in conflicts in their own country, clearly it doesn't pay to be a snitch, right? And I'm not trying to shit on the people who helped America. I'm just saying, if America is not going to help get you out of a place where your assistance to the U.S. military has now endangered the life of you and your family, that was not a good deal for you, right? And I understand why people make tough choices, and I'm not here to shit on or judge. I'm just making an observation that Don't help out the colonizers, shorty, because the colonizers are not going to help you in return. The colonizers are going to pack their shit and leave your brown ass right there at the airport with the Taliban on your heels. That's it. That's the tweet. And I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to come across as harsh because I understand, again, people have to make tough decisions, but don't make deals with the devil and expect the devil to own up to it. That's just not how it goes. Oh, speaking of devils, moving on to our last topic here, because I know it got us in a bit of OT, so I'm going to keep this pushing because you guys, I am extremely concerned because I know a lot of y'all are parents and not a lot of y'all have kids. And as schools are reopening across this country and COVID is spiking with the increased transmission of the highly contagious Delta variant, we are going to be in a tad bit of a shitstorm, I think. Well, pardon me. We are currently in a shitstorm, and I'm afraid that we're going to be in a shit hurricane in just a few short weeks if something is not done. I want us to post. Okay, hold on. Let me go to my doc here because I don't even know where to start with this shit, guys. And FYI, some little simple ass left a comment under one of my videos. Well, maybe it was the video from last week where I was talking about my family member. My 88-year-old family member has contracted COVID. They are asymptomatic, thank God. But all the caretakers around them were vaccinated. And the person was like, so Kim said that her family member got COVID, even though everybody was vaccinated. What did he call me? He said he said something about keep y'all scary ass Negroes the fuck away from me about, you want to get vaccinated. You want no Yes, nigga, keep your unvaccinated ass the fuck away from me. Yes, double down on that shit. I'm gonna find that comment. I'm gonna reply to that shit. Yes, nigga, keep your unvaccinated ass the fuck away from me and mine, because I don't care if you don't want to get the vaccine, whatever. Shorty, we are at a crisis right now, right? And if there's an opportunity for me and my people and people I care about to not be hospitalized and potentially die from COVID, then the vaccine is the way to go. Nobody ever said if you get the vaccine, you won't get COVID, right? And vaccinated people apparently are getting COVID left and right. And the CDC and state health departments' reluctance to publish the breakthrough vaccination data is troubling. It is troubling. And for the reasons that I have outlined previously on this program, guys, I am just very convinced that because enough people did not get vaccinated, we did not achieve herd immunity status, the virus is remixing itself to outsmart the vaccine, right? They actually made the announcement today that the FDA or the CDC intends to suggest a third dose if you've already received the Pfizer or Moderna vaccination, that 8 months after you received your second dose of the vaccine, that you should probably go get a booster. And bitch, I will be there with my booster because I am afraid of COVID. Shout out to all you super immune system niggas who drink garlic juice and shit in the morning. I'm glad y'all not afraid of COVID. Good. I'm terrified of the shit, okay? Just like if tuberculosis was going around, I'd be terrified of that. Just like if fucking measles was going around, I'd be terrified of that. Like, this is not our first rodeo with global pandemics, and niggas need to smarten the fuck up, Nas, okay? Because, again, polio was wrecking people in this country. Tuberculosis was wrecking people in this country. Smallpox was wrecking people in this country. And the reason why they don't is all because of vaccines. All because of vaccines. So y'all, let's not play stupid, okay? We're not gonna play stupid out here. Anyway, speaking of playing stupid, these people at the goddamn school boards are losing their fucking minds. And I actually want us to go ahead and start there. So this happened a few days ago in Houston, H-Town, Texas. What's up? Pookiewood, this is your state. What in the hell is going on down there in Texas? Let us start with C4 if we could, Tunde. This is a package from KPRC 2 News, right? So the Houston ISD, the school district superintendent, instituted a mask mandate. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and I saw who dropped it in the chat that it was announced today. Was it you, Chuck Diesel? That Greg Abbott is apparently tested positive for COVID. Loathe the irony, right? The Houston School District Superintendent instituted a mask mandate defying Greg Abbott's executive order banning school systems and municipalities from instituting mask mandates. Why? Because I don't know. You can't make white people do shit that they don't fucking want to do, apparently. So let's take a look at this clip from KPRC2 News from the school board meeting in Houston. Now, anyway, the reporter actually does a very good job of explaining it, so let me not double explain it. Tunde, let's take a look at that, please.
A lot of concern, a lot of people speaking out both for and against the mandate. The resolution makes clear that it is the superintendent's decision, and the vote, 8-0 unanimous, was the school board choosing to support officially this decision, which goes into effect on the first day of school.
I am here to speak in support of the universal mask mandate for HISD.
Dozens of parents, teachers, students, and others made their voices heard at tonight's HISD board meeting.
I want you to understand what it's like for me to wear a mask to school all day.
In the end, most spoke out against a mask mandate.
We will not comply, and my child will be at school without a mask.
It is unconstitutional, it is not safe, and it is inhumane.
This makes no sense what y'all are talking about.
Outside before the meeting, dozens protested the expected mask mandate, including HISD parent Jennifer.
And I'm about to pull him out. I don't want him in HISD anymore. I don't. I'm tired of it.
In the end, the board voted unanimously in favor, not of a mask mandate, but in favor of the superintendent's decision to mandate masks for, quote, all students, staff, and visitors while indoors on HISD property and while riding HISD buses. School board member Elizabeth Santos.
There are teachers out there that have to go home, have to face our children every day and think, what are we bringing home to our families?
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee also supported tonight's decision. Many other speakers pleaded, let the parents decide.
My two beautiful children who, for the last 14 months, have worn a mask for up to 10 hours a day.
No one has to tell me what's best for my child.
Now, there are some exceptions, for example, while eating and while principals, during activities that principals decide that masks are not needed, that is okay. The resolution also gives the superintendent authority to decide how long the mandate will last and to bring it back if it is ever lifted.
Guys, that story from Channel 2 News down there in Houston. And y'all, I was, doing the research for this because, again, I don't watch cable news. I know cable news probably got this shit on the loop. I don't watch that shit. So I got to do my own researching and shit. But anyway, Tennessee, what in the fuck was happening in Franklin County? This is all over the place. Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, down in Florida, down in places in Mississippi, Alabama, Little Rock, Louisiana. I mean, this is across the country, California, and this is largely, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this, is largely white parents. Like, I am just truly befuddled at why specifically it's white parents that are so angry, and so enraged. And what kills me, y'all, is that I don't think the white kids give a fuck about wearing a mask in school. I think the kids are cool with wearing masks in school. I think the kids whatever, right? But it's the parents. And honestly, you guys, okay, in the chat, I'm doing a tad bit of an informal survey here. Just say yes or no. Have you seen at some of this reporting at these different school board meetings or whatever, have you seen non-white parents be as belligerent when it comes to opposing the mask mandates? Just give me a yes or no in the chat. Either you have seen non-white parents be belligerent at the school board meetings behind these mask mandates, or you have not. And I don't claim to have witnessed every school board meeting. Shout out to Afra Sings. Hello, sweetie. Happy belated birthday. Thank you so much for your support. I have not seen Black parents and brown parents and Asian parents that upset. They hold, okay, no. Luke Kang said he works with kids. I can tell you they do not wear a mask properly. Well, I believe that because they're children, Luke Kang. Luke Kang said that the kids are not wearing the mask properly and continuously. I get that, yes, because they are kids, right? And I disagree with sending kids back to school in August anyway because it's hot. But you know that's another matter. But I was black. One of the parents was black, Tasia. Yes, I'm talking about generally. Like, I mean, there are, of course, there was some simple ass niggas down at the Capitol on January 6th, right? But we all know what kind of white power party that was, right? I'm just saying, y'all. What's up, Tunde? Are you talking to me? Oh, Tunde laughed at my jokes. That makes me feel good. All right. But this is serious in the ways that have more consequences beyond the people who are just upset. Tunde, if you could pop up C2 for me, please. This is an article from Tampa Bay Times. Tampa Bay Times. Early COVID-19 counts are pushing Hillsborough County schools to consider stronger masking rules because schools have opened in parts of Florida, most of Florida actually, and COVID cases are exploding. Hit up C3 for me, Tunde, also, because as kids transmit COVID, they transmit it to adults. And 3 Broward County educators have lost their battle with COVID-19 in less than 24 hours. I actually think that number is up to 4. Because I think it was some teachers and teachers' assistants. It's at least 3. I want to say that number is actually up to 4 now. Okay, so this has real consequences for people who have to work in schools alongside children. And I saw that scrotum-faced motherfucker, his name is Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh was one of them pieces of shit who was talking shit about me, your homie, when Tucker Carlson found my fucking show and put me on blast on Fox News, right? I saw Matt Walsh, a clip of him testifying, I think in Nashville in front of the school board and going on and on and on about how few children have died from COVID. First of all, Matt, what's the acceptable number of child deaths from COVID? I mean, when he said, I believe the number that he quoted, which I have no idea is accurate or not, but let's just go with the bullshit number that he said. He said 4.2 million kids have been infected with COVID. And then he said like something like 0.008 have actually died. Well, that sounds like a not insignificant number of deaths of children that probably would have not otherwise died if we did not have a global pandemic, right? The casual way in which people are dismissing kids dying from what could be a preventable disease is actually very ghoulish and heartless and on brand for Republicans and conservatives who claim to care about families and kids, right? They don't give a fuck about the kids. And this is pretty plain and apparent. But that scrotum-faced bastard, what else did he say? He said something else that I didn't agree with. Well, excuse me, everything, his whole existence, I don't agree with. I don't agree with anything. I don't agree with him putting his feet on the floor in the morning. Like, there's a lot I don't agree with him. But he went on to talk about how COVID is less of a threat, allegedly, to children than the flu. Okay, that is the testimony of a simple-minded motherfucker who is only thinking about himself and his family, right? Ignoring the teachers and school staff who could be there immunocompromised, who could be there perhaps dealing with a chronic illness that they have not even had diagnosed yet, that puts them at a greater disposition of contracting COVID. It's well and good. And actually, it's not well and good that a lot of kids don't die from COVID, because it's fucked up that any kid dies from COVID. But it's well and good that a lot of kids don't get sick from COVID, even though we're seeing increased numbers in pediatric ICUs from COVID symptoms, et cetera. And again, I'm sorry, I know I keep saying it again because there's so much to get into. Because guys, at the end of the day, it's called the novel coronavirus. This is a new thing. This has not been walking the planet as long as influenza, right? We do not know the long-term effects of COVID on the body, least of all on the developing body and developing brain and developing organs, right? When COVID attacks, it attacks all the fucking shit that you need. Brain, lungs, heart, kidneys, attacks all the shit that you need, right? And we don't know what those effects are going to be long-term for adults, even though we're having a tiny bit of window into that with long haulers, people who have been experiencing long-term COVID symptoms, even months after their diagnosis. Even people who are testing negative for COVID, who had COVID, are still experiencing long haul symptoms. But we don't know what this is going to do to kids. And the fact that we are very comfortable as a nation in our ignorance about this, in our haste to get back to normal, which basically means slaves, get your asses back in the field. We're going to open up these schools to make sure that your kids are occupied and babysat during business hours, the prime money making hours, in order for billionaires to keep raking in record profits that this pandemic has brought them. This is what this is all about. And these, I don't know what the fuck to call these people out here. Do you know what this shit reminds me of? Like these very, very, very angry white parents at these school board meetings. It reminds me of integration in the 50s and 60s. Go back and look at some of that footage and tell me that you don't see some resemblance between those angry white folks who were mad that, Linda Brown was trying to integrate Topeka, Kansas schools, right? Or Little Rock 9, trying to integrate Little Rock Central High School, or all the different places in which Black children were met with great resistance and violence, right? Perhaps not the same thing, but it sure does look like the same folks, does it not? It looks like the same peoples. And I don't understand why these peoples are the way that they are. But I digress, you guys. I was gonna say we as parents, y'all know I ain't nobody's mama, but I'm worried about y'all. I mean, I have friends who have children who have asthma, who have respiratory issues, and are too young to get vaccinated, right? They are terrified to send their kids back to school. And unfortunately, even some of them live in places where a virtual option is not even being offered yet, guys. The haste to get back to normal is ignoring the numbers about COVID. COVID, while it may not be killing people at the rates that it was, it is still infecting people, and people are still being hospitalized. Now, we are, as a country, in a position of a year's, 18 months worth of additional knowledge about how actually to save people's lives who actually do contract COVID. But folks are still very much out here dying. And if you have a child who is too young to be vaccinated, and your child may not be able to sit still in school with a mask, what are you going to do? What is the plan? Because as much as I would be concerned for the child contracting COVID, I'd be very concerned about myself contracting COVID, especially since people live in multi-generational households now, more so than ever. And these breakthrough infections are concerning, right? My mama told me about one of our relatives who was vaccinated. I don't even want to say this to all the anti-vax people, because the anti-vax people are going to be like, see. But again, it's happening. That's what I'm saying. I keep it a buck with y'all. Even if the shit don't fit my fucking narrative, I'm not going to withhold facts and information just to try to make myself look right, even though I think I am right. But whatever. But anyway, my mama told me that one of our relatives was vaccinated and has contracted COVID not once, but twice now. And while they're not hospitalized, this is a different relative than my 88-year-old relative, even we know, so this relative is not currently hospitalized, but they are experiencing symptoms to the point where they are, yes, sick. I hate it here. Let me out of here. Get me out of here. Get me out of here right now. Right now. COVID is not over, everybody. And I pretty much would very much appreciate if everybody would act accordingly. And even if you're not going to get the vaccine, don't be out here as a goofy. Don't be out here unmasked. Don't be out here not social distancing. Don't be out here in the club. Don't be out here hugging grandma. Like all the things that we were doing to mitigate the spread of COVID a year ago, 16 months ago, please do all those same things now. Do all those same things now, okay? We are at the 6:23 mark on the clock, ladies and gentlemen, and days, and I'm going to call it a night because I'm getting mad and I'm starting to sweat, and there's weed over there on the table, just calling my name so I can calm the fuck down. So listen, do me a favor. Give us them thumbs up. Thank you all so much for liking the show. What's up? Oh, that's right. Wait. Tunde's about to Okay. Wait. Okay. Thank you, Tunde. Yes. So wait, before I let y'all go, I got something I want to show y'all. Brother Tunde has got us looking extra crispy out here in these YouTube streets, and I'm so happy. So Tunde has created a new promo for the channel, not that terrible sounding one that is currently running on the channel as our channel trailer. But no, Tunde has made us a new jaunt, and we debuted it on Twitter. But if you haven't seen it yet on Twitter, check it out right now. New Burn It Down with Kim Brown promo. I don't hear nothing.
Here's a clip from a show called Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Burn it down with Kim Brown.
What's up, you? My name is Kim Brown. This is my channel show. It's called Burn It Down with Kim Brown. What do we do here? This is a safe space to set oppression ablaze. What is oppression? All the shit that's fucking us up. Misogyny, racism, xenophobia, transphobia, homophobia, all the crazy phobias and isms that need to fucking go. You know why? It's the 21st century and we too old to be dealing with this bullshit.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice. For justice.
We will be talking to the experts, we will be talking to the scholars, but most importantly, we will be talking to the regular people on the ground, the independent journalists, the independent activists and organizers that are on the ground in a city near you doing the actual work.
Get in the car. Get in the car. For me, the solution is we have to get a new system, you all. We have to get a system that prioritizes people over profits.
So join us here every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. for Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Don't forget to subscribe. It's time to burn this bitch down.
Tear it up, she says. Burn it down.
Now, y'all have never met a black person who is not a coon to be so excited about a Tucker Carlson endorsement. Listen, y'all, let me see some of them flame emojis in the chat for Tunde. Tunde has been working on this, and it is lovely. I dig it. When I saw it, I definitely smiled, and I sent it around to a few people, and they sent me back smiley and flame emojis also. So thank you, Tunde. Thank you so much for your diligence on this very, very important aspect of our channel branding, and I think it does an excellent job. And the fact that Tucker Carlson is my enemy, y'all, that means that y'all are in the right place, okay? I am the enemy of Fox News's biggest white propagandist, so that means that y'all are rocking with the best here right now on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. And I want to thank you all for your support, for your love, for showing up for us, for representing for this channel and spreading the word, right? That is what I'm talking about. So guys, we will see you back here on Friday for the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Of course, tomorrow morning, you can come hang out with me on the Black Power Media channel for the Remix Morning Show. It is the best morning show on the YouTube streets. It's the best morning show on the YouTube streets. God damn it, I said it. And if anybody got a problem with it, come see me, shorty. But that thing starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So join us over on Black Power Media for the Remix Morning Show, along with Dr. Jerry Ball, Kalanji Changa, the Ear Doctor, Kamal Franklin, Jackie Lukemon. I think Jackie Lukemon's going to be with us tomorrow, y'all. So come hang out. Black Power Media, the Remix Morning Show, Wednesday and Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Come hang out with your people. I will see y'all back here on Friday. And circulate that trailer because that bitch is fire. Shout out to Tunde, keeping us crispy, baby. See y'all later. Bye-bye.